AfriForum het vandag aangekondig dat die burgerregteorganisasie in samewerking met Paul O'Sullivan 'n teenkorrupsie-eenheid op die been bring. Ons gesels nou met Paul O'Sullivan, 'n forensiese speurder, en Monique Taute, wat die hoof van AfriForum se teenkorrupsie-eenheid is. Welkom, dankie vir die gesprek. Monique, miskien moet jy begin deur vir ons te sê waarom het AfriForum 'n teenkorrupsie-eenheid op die been gebring?
Korrupsie het soos 'n kanker onder die regering van Jacob Zuma versprei en is vinnig besig om die land op sy knieë te bring. Deur AfriForum en Paul O'Sullivan wat saam met ons werk, kan ons hulpbronne en kennis saamsmelt om die rol van die burgerlike samelewing uit te brei in die stryd teen korrupsie. Ons sien hoe die strafregstelsel geïnfiltreer is deur kriminele wat hulle eie agendas volg, en dit is heeltemal onaanvaarbaar dat korrupte politici en hooggeagtes nie vervolg word nie, terwyl mense wat teen korrupsie wat korrupsie beveg, soos Paul O'Sullivan en ook byvoorbeeld Pravin Gordhan op gekookte aanklagtes vervolg word.
Paul, at the press conference you gave some context as to the corrupt dealings of Radovan Krejcir. Why is that important? And maybe if you can just give a summary about what he's been involved with.
Well, I think as Monique said, corruption is a cancer, and it's permeating all levels of South Africa today. And in the last few years, corruption has taken a very strong hold in the criminal justice system. And there you have two types of corruption. You've got the corruption between the likes of Radovan Krejcir and the generals on his payroll and the judges on his payroll. And then you've got the other form of corruption, which is what I call the political corruption, where people are prepared to bend the law and break the law to serve their political masters. And when the two come together, which is what's been happening in South Africa in the last year or so, we start to see a breaking down of law and order in the country. So it's very important that corruption is treated very quickly and very surgically. And when one looks at Radovan Krejcir, of course he's still in prison now. He was sentenced last year to, I think, 35 years in jail. But what's more important is the fact that when he entered the country almost 10 years ago now, he was arrested, he was detained, and an application was brought for his extradition. He would, under normal circumstances, have left the country. He didn't leave. And the reason he didn't leave is because the magistrate was corrupt. The magistrate took money into his back pocket to unleash this man onto South Africa. And as has been shown, he's been involved in a number of murders, bombings, all sorts of heinous crime, drug trafficking, kidnapping, torture, and this shouldn't have happened. And why was he able to get away with it for so long? Because he had so many generals in the police on his payroll. And some of those generals were at the highest level within the police service. So you have, for example, what we call crime intelligence. Well, crime intelligence, its function is to get criminal information, feed it into the police system so these criminals can be investigated and arrested. Instead, crime intelligence became a tool for the criminals.
Nou Monique, by die mediakonferensie is daar 'n klomp inligting aan die publiek bekend gestel wat op AfriForum se webblad ook kan wees. Maar wat is nou die pad vorentoe vir hierdie teenkorrupsie-eenheid?
Erns op die oomblik gaan ons fokus op verdienstelike sake en dan gaan ons ook teen die staat uitgeer om die staat te dwing om sy verantwoordelikhede na te kom om kriminele in die tronk te sit. As 'n tweede fase beplan ons ook om 'n privaat vervolgingseenheid op die been te bring wat ons dan in staat sal stel om korrupte politici wat om politieke redes nie deur die nasionale vervolgingsgesag vervolg word nie, dan self te kan vervolg.
Paul, President Zuma recently said that corruption is a Western thing. What's your view on that, and also why do you believe that corruption is such an important issue?
Well, I think it's not correct that corruption is a Western thing. And one only has to go to the Transparency International website, where they have a global barometer on corruption. And you'll see they use colors, different colors, to show where the corruption is worse. And you will see that the yellow are the areas where there's not too much corruption, and the darker it becomes into red, the problem is worse. And you'll see it's not a Western problem. I think the problem with corruption and why it has to be dealt with is corruption affects poor people the most. For example, the amount of money that's been stolen in South Africa by corrupt politicians in the last year alone, that money, if it was channeled into education, all of these students who are currently burning down their universities would be able to have subsidized education. So what you're seeing is money that should be used for public service. Taxpayers' money is being channeled into the back pockets of corrupt individuals. And that is a cancer in society and it has to be stopped.
Monique, laaste vraag. As mense die betrokke wil raak of op een of ander manier wil help, wat kan hulle doen?
Die publiek kan AfriForum se teenkorrupsie-eenheid ondersteun deur R10 te skenk. Jy kan jou naam SMS, jou naam en korrupsie SMS na 38312.
Baie dankie. Paul, Monique, thank you very much.
Dankie, Erns.
Dit was Paul O'Sullivan, die forensiese speurder, en Monique Taute, wat met ons gesels het oor AfriForum se teenkorrupsie-eenheid, party van die onthullings wat nou gemaak is by 'n mediakonferensie en dan ook die pad vorentoe.